Looks like we're coming back from break, and this is part number 2, season number 4, game number 10, Chase the Bracelet. And I think we'll go to the commentator booth and get our updated chip count while Train gets it started.
All right, we've got Chris in first place with 21,975. Ed in second place with 13,400. Robert in fourth place with 72.75.
300 to go, Dash.
Raised to 300.
6,700.
By Chris Ward, called by Robert.
Dan with 4,900 and Paul with 750.
I could like Corey just shove over top of this just raise and call.
Actually, the blinds are 150, 300. That's just a call. I did say raise on it.
It's okay.
What?
Corey's cutting out a raise here.
Raise.
Corey raised to 1350.
No gerbils.
Pretty much defining his hand here, letting everyone know that not messing around.
See what Chris does with the 2-4 suited. He calls.
Chris Ward calls.
He's watched Ian Negroni before, so he's going to play just like him with the deuce 4.
That's correct. I have a weird feeling hearts aren't coming.
Corey to act first.
I want 2 at least on the flop, though. Give me 2. Let's see if Corey continues with some aggression here. Chris can't stand too much heat. Sand.
Corey bet 1,600.
This flop doesn't completely smack Corey in his range, but does just enough.
Chris folds.
I think his image smacks it.
His image smacks him squarely in the jaw. That's a hand we talked about earlier. A drive flop that the pre-flop aggressor needs to take advantage of his hand, and he did a great job with it.
Take notes, folks. Corey has read some books.
Quite a few, actually.
Corey's a relatively new player to the game, but he has a chess background that allows him that deep level thinking to where we talked about before with the having a plan attack.
Exactly.
On each street.
That really helps having that kind of background.
Let's see if Dan comes out of a shell.
If the track record
Robert calls
stays
300.
up how it usually is, I feel like he's open jamming. And then standing up. No, I'm kidding. He won't stand up, but I'd expect at least a 6.5 times raise.
Let's see if Dan goes into stone mode that he likes to do when he has a real hand.
Raise 1,000 on top. 1,300. 1,000 for Robert to call.
If he's been paying any sort of attention now throughout this game, Rob should just be mucking his hand in about 2 seconds.
Definitely.
Such a hand.
I feel like he's slightly tilted from the hand before the break, though. We called the ace deuce.
He should have had a sausage. That would have cheered him right up.
I agree. There's nothing like a good sausage.
Robert folds.
And it makes a correct fold.
That's good, though. I like that. I like the fold.
It was either shove or fold.
We can get an action shot.
No,
Not that time.
I'm sure you were.
we're not flashing in the booth. Corey with ace jack for the 13th time.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta watch.
Because you yell it out there, they can hear you talking.
Rookie in the booth.
And tell everybody if they heard that, we apologize.
Corey raises to 1,250.
750.
750, I'm sorry.
I doubt it.
camera's on me, you can see how red my face is currently.
Well, if Dan makes his call, he
See Dan
absolutely
calls?
did not hear.
Exactly.
Same with Chris.
If the camera's on me, you can see I have de-pantsed myself.
Chris Volt.
Heads up.
And I'm not red in the face about it.
And Dan flops an open-ended straight, and Corey flops the nut flush draw. This could get interesting.
I think under normal circumstances, this could be a spot where we get stacks in, but both you guys chasing first place points, they might play a little more cautious.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see the king of spades in turn.
That would just be
Corey
amazing.
bet 600.
It would be the odds. King or ace.
So
I don't
Dan
care
calls?
which one it is.
Did he just bet, or he called a minute ago?
Corey.
Corey bet, Dan
Close.
called.
Dan checks.
Oh, come
Corey
on,
checks.
Corey, you gotta fire one more time, bud. For that reason right there.
Exactly.
Oh, wait.
Dan's calling one more street with.
Same side.
Yeah,
Is it
you have to
the
bet the
exact hand?
turn. I mean,
Especially because Dan wants to take chips off Corey because he's the one he needs Corey to go out next to
well, it's not
increase
only
his
that.
lead too.
It's you want to bet on the turn
Dan's
when you have
bad
a
at this?
hand that strong. This is this is bad.
Dan bets
17,
That's bad.
17.75.
I mean, he did bust his draw, so I see why he's like betting, because that's the only way he can win.
No, it's not terrible. It's just.
It's just
Bad time.
unfortunate.
Corey pushes all in.
He can't
Bad
never call.
timing.
I mean, he's gonna tank fold. He's gonna posture and.
No.
All right.
Dan folds.
Dan's done this before. He knows Hollywooding is.
So he managed to get value, even though he didn't bet the turn. But I think betting the turn.
I guess that was player dependent. I guess he had a read that if Dan breaks off, he's gonna fire at him. And
Well, I think it's back to what we were talking about too, the point thing. So maybe they were playing kind of light against each other, and then Dan was like, "Well, I can't win this spot unless I bet," and just happened to run into the nut flush.
Dan's range is pretty open there. It does
He
smack him.
could have
pretty
hit a
good.
5 on the end and be betting,
Yeah.
like thinking
Palmas
for
for
whatever
Zach
reason it's for
first.
value.
Well, we might have a little bit.
Here's
of
some
a
action.
hand.
Here's some
Rob,
action. Here's some
Rob
action.
with ace queen, Ed with tens.
Dan with 3-4 offsuit.
If Chris had that hand, he'd probably be in there.
Well, we'll find out. He's got king 4 offsuit.
Ed raises to 900.
Standard 3x raise. Slightly heavier for my taste, but to each their own.
Robert calls.
Yeah, when the blinds start going up, I prefer like men. I mean, even men raise is really good for me.
The raises are fine. You get plenty of information,
With risking less,
risking less. and
smaller
if-
C bets.
If
and you can
someone, if someone blasts you in a 3-bet, you're not losing that much.
Needs to move them all over to. I know what they were. You want me to throw them on that now?
See if Rob lets it go here.
I like stubborn play. Why not? Peel one off.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on this board. Was this a limp pot?
No, it
No,
was raised
Ed
by
raised it up.
Ed made standard raise and Rob calls.
Yeah.
And he says good night. Thank you very much.
Ed takes it down.
Ed's been playing pretty slow and steady. It's been working out pretty well for him. Nothing too crazy. He had, quite a few good hands early on. He profited from.
Yeah, he was second in chips
Yeah.
at the break.
Is that right?
Ed's got second in chips. Followed by Corey. Followed by Rob.
Chris has queens. Rob has an ace 9 suited. This is a hand Rob might defend a small blind.
Absolutely. And rightfully so against an aggressive button raiser.
Yeah.
Nine now.
Chris raises to 900.
I see Rob shoving here.
Definitely.
Calls.
Robert calls.
What are the blinds now?
He's lost 900.
153.
300.
Correct.
He lost 900. He's got like 20 big blinds. Well, see, people don't do that.
After the initial raise, I look less at big blinds. I look more at
Paul
pot
folds.
size. And if I can shove and I can accumulate, 20% of my stack, I'm in that every other week.
Well, and 20 big blinds is perfect for shoving
it's
over a
perfect
button
raise.
raise.
It's the re-steal stack size.
Robert checks.
It just puts so much pressure on. Obviously, it would have been bad for him, but against that type of player, or the way Chris is playing, I think that's a great spot to do it.
Rob folds before the chips even hit the felt.
Correct.
Which is awesome.
Hey, I appreciate it. I know Paul appreciates it. It saves him time, gives him more time with the lower blind level.
Well, it gives Paul more time to think when he actually has like ace-jack or something and he's thinking about shoving. He has a little bit more time now because of the fast fold previous
You know what I
scene.
just love? Paul just had 750 and he had 300 in the big blind and folded it.
Hey, I think this is the first time he smiled, though. He realizes his fate is coming soon.
Well, I think he's just happy now that it's over and he can go home and take a cold shower.
And he's going to get it in here, and Suited Dan picked up aces again.
Oh, we might.
Ooh, Rob's got ace.
Yeah,
jack.
we might see a big pot here.
Yeah, Rob just lost.
All in for Suited Dan.
Hands all in.
22-25.
I think he's going to get called here.
He has to get called.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, slams it.
Slams it
Robert
down like
calls.
it's the nuts.
Robert goes Dominique Wilkins with the Dunkin' chips in the middle.
All you need is some frosting for those Dunkaroos.
Now, if Paul folds here,
Paul folds.
Stop it. Someone's going to have a heart attack in here. Paul, you telling jokes? Paul's just telling jokes right now. Let's
Ace
fold.
Jack of Diamonds versus Aces by Suited
Paul, we
Dan.
love you, bud, but, I mean, what are you
Paul's
waiting
had
for?
750 and just blinded off 450.
He did that the other time in the tournament where he left himself with like 200 or something. He reminds me of Phil Hellmuth. Just gets stubborn and says, I'm going to... Oh, please let a 7 come.
Oh, hit a 7.
I just want one
Come on,
7. All right, that's fine.
Suited Dan doubles up.
Good timing for Dan. It's a key double up.
He's not going to make up enough points.
He's not going to get the value. I mean, the value's there. I mean, all in.
Suited Dan to act first.
Suited Dan might have laryngitis. I have not heard him talk one time this entire session.
He wants to win this so bad. I've never seen him want to win something.
Do you think he'll make a poster?
He
With
might.
his picture on it?
I think he will make a poster. I think he's already made a poster, and he's
Just
just waiting to put it
What
up.
season he wins.
Just to make sure it's not a lost cause.
Folds over to Corey.
You see, Chris just got back to Florida.
That's the most relaxing flop ever.
I get pocket aces.
Not one nine,
You hit
nothing
fucking
near your straight.
4.
Corey raises to 900.
I can't get a fucking.
Corey raises the jack 6.
Well,
I like it.
this is a small blind, and Ed is, folding
Yeah.
a lot of his. We're going to be folding a lot of his big blinds.
Ed might not recognize him now that Corey has shaved his beard. He might think, who's this new guy at the table filling in for Corey?
Yeah, that is different. I didn't notice that.
Bearded Corey folds that small blind. Non-bearded Corey
raises.
raises it relentlessly.
We thought he was going to try out for the next season of Duck Dynasty.
Oh,
He's
man.
going.
He gone.
Happy, happy, happy.
I'm back, Jack.
See, I was trying to grow a beard like Corey's for about 4 years, and
All you can muster is
And
a
it end up
mustache.
looking like Dan.
Chris Ward calls.
I have a few little patches here and there, but nothing that I want.
Robert calls.
Rob calls with deuces.
Ed calls.
Awfully hard to catch that last deuce.
Suited Dan checks his option.
But it's been done before.
3 minutes, 40 seconds left in the
Some
blinds.
good things have happened.
Like a 5 in the river.
I would like to see 9-9 deuce.
Deuces
All
are
players
ahead
check.
right now. And still ahead.
Chris bet 625.
That's a why not bet.
That's what I thought I was doing with those 5s.
No, it wasn't.
Full trap.
No, definitely.
Good bet. Take it when you can.
It just stinks because if I would have made that bet, I would have got called.
And anymore.
Probably by the deuces. It's because my sweet image.
So you got yours with the court size?
Yes, you're a very sweet gentleman.
So I've heard.
I can drink after
By a reputable source.
Robert Jack first.
I think Moscow's going to get Kings here pretty soon and lose to something worse.
I really hope so. I mean,
And then complain about the bad luck.
no, I shouldn't say that. I wish nothing but the best for Paul.
Absolutely, he's a great guy.
I just,
It's just the humor in it all. I wouldn't mind seeing Paul Blade in here now. Why not? 6'8".
yeah.
Gaps, one gap suited. Let it rip.
I would. What does he have behind now?
Like,
It's got to be like a big one.
250.
300.
He has 300.
Yeah, 300, because he had 750 to start.
And it's 153, right?
Tony, I'm surprised you could see that small chip stack as far away as you.
I mean, he doesn't have that much more. He has one more hand.
Train told me.
Yeah, he's holding it in his hand.
One hand
One chip.
between his
Fingers.
his finger and his thumb.
Yeah, I think 6'8" was a good. I mean, because what are you waiting? Like this now, it's like almost
You're
this hand you have to shove. I mean,
flipping with everything.
you're literally. It's almost any two now. I mean, you can't wait. Queen 8. I would. Oh, Paul.
I can't believe I'm your biggest concern.
I don't think he understands
Yeah, we'll be next
when it gets
hand.
short what.
Paul
What hands?
Paul doesn't have the concept, the whole like ICM concept. Each chip has
See, Dan
power.
calls.
When you use all your power,
Chris
your hand
calls.
matters. So
Robert
little.
checks this out.
Yeah. I mean, because he's going to get called no matter what, so you just want to get it in with paint. Anything that you can.
Anything. They say the computer hand's Queen 7. Anything
700
above
bet by
that
Chris.
is an automatic jam, but you have to start lowering your range. You're getting called by everything anyhow. You have a blind.
Yeah. I mean, now you're blinding out. This is it. I mean, there's not.
The only time that his play right now would make sense if he had another short stack with the possibility of going up before.
Yeah.
No one's shorting enough for that to be a correct play.
I mean, he's automatically in. Look, Chris showing that he's calling already. Like, I am calling you. So.
Train, probably.
Let's see what he has. The 6'8". The 6'8".
So
How ironic.
So he waits for the he folds the 6'8" suit and he gets the 6'8" offsuit.
And gets put in automatically, where he has no choice. I feel
Ed
like
calls.
I feel like because it's Paul, he even by putting one blind in, he has fold equity.
Chris
Like people will
calls.
fold hands they wouldn't normally call with because they know it's Paul.
Robert
and he's
calls.
waiting for like ace jack. Here he goes. He's disappointed. He's like, man, this sucks.
Check. Checks to you, Ed. I check.
Did he just check? He doesn't
Yes.
have chips. It was a
Ed flops second pair and a straight draw.
Paul's
Chris
drawing
bets
dead.
650.
Yep.
Chris flops top pair, no picks.
I just kept folding the small
I feel like there's not going to be much betting going on.
the other two stacks. Yeah.
He bets. That's good.
Chris already bet, right?
Ed calls.
Yeah, check
like that
around to
bet.
him and Chris bet.
Do you?
Not really.
I mean, it's not terrible because the main pot's so small, so having a dry side pot doesn't matter nearly as much.
You would just hate to kick out, like, now if Paul has
If
happens to wake up with like a hand, you're
If Paul, if somebody has pocket fours right now,
Both players check.
and it causes someone else so much more pain.
yeah. And Paul's kind of excited because he thinks he hit a hand on the river, but
6'8".
he didn't.
As the action went, he probably knew.
I'm pretty sure he did. That's what happens when you wait for the big one.
Lock the door.
He doesn't come in here, does
Until
he?
he's like, sometimes. I don't know.
Today he seems like a day that he's
Go in
not
there and
going
get a
to.
wall.
But he may.
Pour me later, help, buddy.
If he does,
I don't
Go
really
to
know what
booth.
kind of commentary Paul
Hurry.
have to offer. So I folded for 2 hours, let me tell you.
there he
We'd
is,
like to
the man of the hour.
Paul Moskowitz to the booth.
Paul
It's
walks
like
in
a
going to Dougie.
big
or
blind
to
only.
Bernie, rather.
Blinds are 200, 400.
Chris picking up nines.
I don't even. I feel like even though I was in a lot more hands, I feel like you that I do really play poker
Not well.
No, nothing went really well.
Have a seat, Paul.
Raised to 1,200 by Chris Ward.
Chris raised and takes it.
Takes it down.
So, Paul, give us some thoughts, bud. I mean, what's your overall consensus of your evening?
I think I probably played worse tonight than I have all season. And when I had 2 pocket pairs today, maybe 3. The jacks. Well, yeah, I got to commend Chris on that 700. If he pushes there, I think I can call. I think the
looked like a value bet.
It was a very good value bet, and I actually felt pretty good that he didn't have the ace, and I think that's where I bet the 1,000. And he called, but then when the king hit, then I got scared there. So, and then when the 10 hit on the river, I thought he could have been in there with the 10.
So if you could redo the hand, what
Robert is all in.
Well, the first thing that crossed my mind when I got the jacks was just shoving.
Ed calls.
Did you ever think about betting the flop?
Pocket fours versus ace queen.
You know what? I was just a mess tonight.
All in moment here.
I felt like I didn't even play any poker tonight
We're
at all.
All in and a call.
Rob's all in. Ed calls the ace queen.
Rob's all in. Good call. Slightly one-sided.
Three in the window. No, three in the window.
That flop is pretty boring.
Ace or queen, Chris?
And splish splash taking a bath.
And Rob doubles up.
Rob doubles up and says, "Hey, give me some more calls. Just keep on playing."
But other than those jacks.
So back to your back hand. So you think? What was your idea behind checking the flop?
I tried to channel my inner Moskowitz there and fold it.
I think that one was pretty close.
You know what? All right, so I was afraid of the ace. He called my pre-flop raise, and I thought he could have had an ace. But
I understand.
But what happens when you have a player like Chris or Bobby, when they get a big chip stack early, it's very easy for them to
Chris calls
make
400.
bets like that, and I've got a very weak stack, and it's hard to come back with a re-raise at that point. I
understand. I'm just curious. Just picking your brain, bud.
I saw, Chris came out of the box tonight with just unbelievable cards.
Corey raises
that he
to
got paid
1,200.
That's because he played an inferior player, and he makes quads, and the guy can't fold a boat.
Chris Ward calls.
Rookie mistake.
But I am not pleased at all with how I played. And then when I started getting down on my chip stack, then the cards started getting really sick, and I never had a big ace at all night. I had some ace rags. I thought about shoving at the end when suited Dan had pocket aces. Obviously, I didn't know he had that.
Your ace 8 was probably
Corey bets
a call in that
1,400.
spot, but as it turned out,
Well, it would have been all in for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because Dan moved in, you were last to act. It's tough.
Chris Ward
you
calls.
have an all in front of you. You look down at the best hand you've seen in 3 orbits.
It was the best ace I had today. A suited. It was still an ace rag, but it was still suited. But
Chris checks.
It did cross my mind that maybe
Corey
I can
checks.
triple up here with any 2 cards. But again, in hindsight, I'm glad I
my gosh,
thought.
when he gets there.
Yeah, but I don't think
Chris
he's going to
checks.
get any money for it.
He's gonna go check, I imagine. Oh, he's looking at him. He's thinking about it.
Corey will let it go, I think. Maybe not.
No.
Who's first back?
I think Chris checked, and I think Corey just bet into him.
Corey bets 3,200. 4,200. Oh, is it all in? No, it's not. Oh, that was Chris that said all in?
Chris is all in.
Okay. So Corey Mixell bet 4,200.
Why did Chris go all in?
Chris went all in.
He's got the straight.
I know, but why did
Why did what?
why didn't he just re-raise him?
Corey folds.
He's betting for value. If Corey has ace queen, ace king, he's gonna get a stack.
But didn't Corey come out and bet right there?
It looked like
And Chris raised.
It looked like Corey was value
He
betting
raised
the
them all
river,
in.
and
Yeah.
Chris jammed over top of him.
There wasn't enough left back, I think, to.
That's not good.
Yeah, I don't think Corey's got enough back to raise like that.
And it's another spot where missing a bet on the turn to get Chris off his hand cost him $4,200.
Ed with kings here. Not much else going on though.
Ed's trying to save some
Robert.
still.
Rob
Robert-
just moved in with ace-5 in front of
Robert
Ed with
all in?
kings.
Yeah, but there's no other aces out there.
Sit down,
I'd
stand
take
up.
them odds every time though.
Is Rob?
What is it, 3,200?
And he goes
I mean, he
over
may
top.
lose.
Bunker has been announced.
Ed Wigler all in.
I need the exact
70%
same
of the
flop.
time.
Exact same flop.
But then he would have lost in the river anyhow with the last swap. Just to point that out.
Yes. Well, he didn't say turn and river, just a flop.
He says, let's just do 3 cards this time.
2-3. Turn one.
And
In the window?
Ace in the window.
And has the royal flush draw.
Get there. This is what I came to see. Let's see some royales with cheese. King, queen, spade. Now Ed's
Robert doubles up.
bemoaning his luck. He says, every time I have kings, the mother loving ace comes in the flop.
That reminds me of
Now Rob is happy and Ed hates life. See if that changes
That's
the
when
table dynamic.
Rob is the happiest when he gets it in with garbage and wins.
I did feel better than
I don't know Rob that well, so I can't speak for him too much, but
I've played with Rob quite a bit.
much better.
let's see if Corey can recoup some of them chips he lost a little bit ago to
Action on
Chris.
Corey.
I limped and called too many hands.
See, I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm really not.
Raised to 850 by Corey
Very
Mansell.
seldom do you think you make a mistake. And that's a wrong way to go about playing poker. It really is.
No, the way I verbalized myself, I did not like. I just said today was the worst of the whole season.
650 for Chris to call.
When I
Fold.
come out and approach, I feel
Robert folds.
Gun.
that I felt that I have played a good game.
Well,
I never said I never
no,
made a mistake.
no, but I mean, there's several. If you listen to the comment, there's several spots where I think you've missed bets, like he just said. I mean, a lot. It's just like you're afraid. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not meant to be
But
mean.
once Chris got those chips, you know.
Oh yeah.
He's handling his chips well. I mean,
Yeah.
he was getting in there and putting pressure on you guys, which we were talking
Ed
about.
calls,
As you probably
400.
should.
Yeah.
No, you play tight. Corey's playing tight. You know,
Yeah.
in the 2-hole, he has positioning you guys. He has to raise there every time.
Yeah. Once you check that flop to him, or the check on the flop end turn. You
Robert
check
calls,
it
400.
twice, He's betting no matter what he's.
You just open that door for him, and
Yeah.
Corey
he's
checks
gonna
his
jump
option.
in with both feet.
I mean, I know the right thing there would have been to just come over the top and push all in, but
Well,
he's got, well, to make it look like I check raised him, but you know he's got so many chips. I didn't have enough chips. He could have called me just like, all right, you won, and then called.
800 bet by Ed.
I think just
1200. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
1200.
No.
Yeah. I think just most of the time when you raise pre-flop, you want to bet on the flop, especially when an ace-high board comes, because that's the hand you want to represent. You want to say, hey, I have that ace. You know, like,
Especially with your
and you know he's calling any cards. He's trying to.
Bobby is currently setting up every player for a raise and a flop with his. You should continuation bet every time.
yes, that's my plan. And then.
Other than that, I mean, I don't think there was anything else that I didn't
Angle shooting
play
in the
any
booth.
other hands. I would limp in even with when someone
Yeah.
Here's
three bet raises, and I would limp in, and then there would be another raise around the table, and I'm like, you know.
Ed gets a walk?
We'll Skype later. I'm kidding. I said we'll Skype later.
These are the moments where I feel like every player that should be raising their aggressive level.
Definitely.
Everyone's starting to knit up a little bit. Everyone's afraid to.
It's 5-handed. I mean, it's 5-handed. The blinds are up. It's time to put it into gear now.
There's suited cards. There's middle aces. Just
those 2-3 of clubs.
Even middle kings. Just,
all that stuff.
Let it rip. I think Rob should be opening right now.
Corey should definitely be raising. I mean,
see, he knows he probably should, but you can see the timidness in his
definitely.
demeanor. Look at that.
See, I'm curious. There's a hand early on.
Holds over to Ed.
Where I got lost a lot of chips calling. One was against Corey and one was against Rob. Now,
Ed calls 400.
I had Jack 9 and plus top pair.
He turned a straight.
He turned a straight.
So Dan checked his option.
He turned a straight, and then the board paired on the river.
Yeah, that's right.
Picked up a 2 on the turn.
And so, I mean, he told me
Both players check.
You have to bet there every time.
Definitely.
Limping, then checking instantly. That's always a bet in the big blind. You have position.
600 bet by Ed.
You lose it.
So Dan folds.
You lose the hand. I understand you're trying to go for points, but.
My bad. I thought I prayed for a 9 on the turn.
Robert tagged first.
And he ended up getting the card he needed, and then I whimpered out. But there was one against Corey where I had an ace rag and an ace with the board, and I bet out, and he came over the top on me.
You were beat. He had ace jack. You had like ace 7, ace 8. It was a good fold.
Yeah.
We commended you on that one.
Actually, I was going to go on break and tell you he bluffed you, but I didn't.
All right.
That's so.
No, that was a good pull.
Robert is all in.
Rob's all on 2 7s.
Probably won't get called.
You never know with
Chris's big stack. I mean, he might call.
Max of Chris.
It depends on the stack. I mean,
How much is it?
Chris has ace 5.
7,200. Robert
he's
all
not
in.
calling that much.
Yeah, that's way too much.
See now he's shoving with ace 5 when last time he could just open with ace 5 and not be in a shoving situation.
No, he shoved with 7s.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet. I had it backwards. Bobby keeping me on a straight and narrow.
It's fine, man.
Corey dacked first.
Well, no, I'm talking about a different hand.
Oh, that's the hand.
Yeah,
You
that's
had
the hand.
hand, the ace 8 of clubs that I folded where Dan had aces. That
No,
ended-
No,
different.
the hand that Corey
we were
check
just
raised.
talking
Or
about
Rob
raised.
ace
Corey
queen.
raised you on the turn.
Yeah, like
Dan
15
had
or
an
16.
ace. Yeah, Dan had an ace that hand too.
Unless Chris opens here, it looks like he might be getting a walk.
Yeah, see, I didn't have a flush draw, and I didn't have 2 pair with the ace, and
Is it
I
8
didn't
o'clock?
like my kicker.
Right.
It's
No, it was a good fold.
I've seen everybody, and
No,
I
that was
don't
a good
even like
fold.
I feel like it's like
Yeah.
I don't even like playing
should be
this
later.
card like that, and I
5
see
hand.
so many people win with them, so I decide, I'll call with it. I'm not getting much else. And it just comes back.
No, it was a good spot for it. The whole way around, and you played it right too.
Yeah, but I lost a lot of chips in that.
Well, that'll happen.
All right, guys, we have a tournament going on. This is not the Paul show.
I think we need a Chinese fire drill.
It's
Been,
talk
I was
about
going to
yours.
say, it's been the
We
Bobby
need a
Sue.
Chinese fire drill at this table. Get things moving.
Here we go.
Suited Dan with King Queen. This is one of his favorite hands. Chris with an ace 6. Rob with a Jack Queen.
Is that a shove
Suited
from
Dan
me?
all
I
in.
kind of thought Dan might just stuff it here.
Yeah. I like it.
2,950.
I mean,
Why not?
Stack right now.
Dan.
Dino Sun.
Yeah, Dan's probably the shortest at the table.
Yeah, I really like this
doing
shove
the
here.
math here.
see, this is one of those things too with Corey. He does a lot of the math sometimes. Like in the past, some of those tournaments or some of the previous games, and he's made some weird calls to me. Just because the math may have been
Right.
correct, but like against the players and the situation, he should definitely be folding. But he'll call it like second pair, and like the one I remember the one time he called the Jack 10 or something, and it was crushed. It was
Yeah.
like
I mean, math is an excellent tool. Some people use it as their first tool, but
You also have to have
it all has
a
to
feel,
add
too.
together.
you have so many
Yeah.
hands of history with all these players now. The math doesn't necessarily go out the window, but it takes a bit of a back seat to your
Math is, I mean, everything comes
Suited Dan
together
all in.
with
Dan all
everything
in
else.
again.
Like math, images, player types, like all that stuff should be a combination, not just one
So Dan,
one thing.
going on to the Mike Dempsey.
The Mike Dempsey,
Let's see if he wins with it.
we will miss you, bro. Mike Dempsey,
We will.
shout out.
This is
If
close
you're watching.
for Corey, I think.
Let's see him do the math.
think this is close.
I think it's real close. But
No, I think it could be a call.
At the same time, though, what has Dan done to display a call here? This entire situation.
Well, I mean, it is the second time he's shoving in a row. I mean, that's sometimes can look like a
1 minute left in the
desperation.
blinds.
I think it shows more strength.
I think it does too.
Current blinds are
Well, I
200,
can't say
400.
nothing because I got knocked out of the tournament that way the Wednesday. But then I hit bad beats.
He's asking for a count now.
As you should. I mean, at least, you know.
At least make Dan sweat. I mean, he has ace-9, but that doesn't. He probably doesn't want to call. I mean, you don't really want to call when you have ace.
Asking for a count gets you a possible physical read off your opponent. Good
No.
move, Corey.
Corey folds.
He said he doesn't want it. I
Ed
think Ed's
folds.
snapping.
That's-
Never mind.
That's such a hard spot.
He
did have a slight luxury of having a player behind him, but in that spot.
Well, plus I think
doesn't matter a
Corey,
whole lot.
I think he knows that you need a stronger hand to call than, like that would be a hand he could shove. But calling with ace-5 is kind of trickery.
I think Corey wants to kill Dan's dreams of the winning of the Chase the Bracelet. That's his number one mindset.
Well, that's another thing. I think a lot of people think about points a lot in this scenario. I mean, Corey and Dan especially, they're going to be
Chris stack first.
try hard.
Let's see if Corey exacts a little revenge on this hand with his tiny ace.
I mean, I think he has to. Definitely.
yeah. It's kind of a no-brainer shoving a button.
Just like you said the last hand.
Yeah.
You can shove with it, but you can't
It's
call.
Corey is
better
all
to
in.
shove, but not call.
No callers.
No, I'm never happy when I don't play well.
No, I think you're just never happy.
I'm only happy when it rains.
I'm kidding.
My biggest issue is that when I feel that I'm in playing well, then I have
Robert Tack first.
run into really bad luck.
You should make a 2+2 username.
Oh, here we go. Here's some action.
Raised to 600 by Chris
Well, Ed's
Ward.
pretty deep though, so I
No.
don't. Ooh.
Chris Corey's not. So Corey's
I hear
gonna
Chris
be
raised.
shoving.
No,
No,
I'm
he's
sorry.
big-
It's just the blind.
big blind.
Okay.
Blinds are up 300, 600. Corey is all
We're
in.
just getting action. That's all we're winning on.
Did Corey shove them?
Yeah, Corey.
This is a regretful call by Ed. He's not super stoked about it, but you got 2 10s.
Ed has a bigger stack.
Corey's, yeah.
Well, it's so much better than his range. You know what I mean?
Quit moving around and putting your jacket on. That's the worst.
Corey's getting ready to break out into Thriller, but with a black jacket.
His hand seem weak.
Well, yeah, but it always when people are doing the whole getting ready to leave thing.
Ed moves all in.
That didn't sell him.
He did.
He didn't go.
Has
He
that
put his
ever
jacket on. I'm gonna call now.
Has that ever worked in
I don't
the
think it
history of
has.
poker?
I think so.
Well, if that's the way you think, I'm putting my jacket on every time when I shove against you.
Corey with queens.
I'm gonna put everything on. I'm gonna have gloves. I'm gonna put
Ed
gloves
with
on
tens.
and scarf and get all ready, and I'm gonna call somebody and be like, "Hey, you want me to pick up food on the way home?" Like while we're in the hand.
A very gentlemanly handshake before the flop. Putting the fate of the poker gods.
I'm really hoping for a 10 though.
Bobby,
So suited Dan.
Bobby is no longer partial. Or he is partial, rather. And
Let's see a 10.
Nope.
Nope.
Corey doubles up.
No bank sauce here.
Let's call him Double.
Let's see if Corey gets a little more active now that he just doubled up.
Yeah. That hand just made my nose start bleeding.
The only way they think this gets any worse is if suited Dan is on 2 hands in a row now.
Yeah. I want Dan to fail so bad. Nothing against him or anything. He's a nice guy.
I'm rooting him
Just
for him. He needs
sheer
to win in
enjoyment
his life.
purposes.
Just
right?
pure enjoyment. I mean, he's my nemesis for life. Like, I feel like it's a Phil Locke, Antonio Esfandiari. Like,
Best buddies that want to kill each
they
other.
just want to crush each
Oh,
other at the
wow.
table, and I feel like that's what's happening.
Ed's with ace king.
This is going to be really fun.
Rob with king
Got
10.
some baby aces going on.
Ed is all in.
Rob might call with king 10. I've seen him make a lot of calls.
Well, Ed
this
just
year.
raised, right? Yeah.
He moved all
Ed is
in.
all
Oh,
in.
really?
Yeah, because he just got crippled.
Oh, I didn't know that he.
Yeah.
I didn't know he lost that much.
So
What's your in for train?
2,900.
Thank you.
Rob makes these calls with these kind of hands on the
Yeah. Well, it's King 10 suited. I mean, it's suited.
If he calls,
And you can hit straights with
oh,
it.
we're standing up,
Oh, Ed's standing up and shaking his legs.
amongst other things.
Rob is probably able to put him in some kind of range that Ed would normally play.
If Ed had a jacket to put on, he would
From
at
what
this
I've seen
point.
this year, King 10 has never had any hand he shows with.
Yeah, Ed should put a jacket. If Ed has a jacket, he should put it on right now. Definitely. I've heard that influences people's decision.
Corey, give Ed his jacket.
Yeah, Corey. If I was Ed, I would ask Corey to borrow his jacket.
I cannot believe he told us
Robert
that.
Foltz?
He wanted to call that so bad.
He did.
He did.
Don't show him. Don't. Yeah.
I
thank
sensed
you.
that he was puckering up.
Oh.
Sorry for the pause, folks. We were losing it with laughter in the booth here.
Ed Dak first.
At least I wasn't drinking.
Oh, here it goes.
This looks interesting.
we're gonna have a little action here, I think. I think.
Well, the thing is, he's in the small blind, so I feel like Chris is going to raise, and then, depending on
Raised to
Rob's stack,
3,500
he's probably
by
going to jam.
Chris
Oh,
Wood.
this is, yeah.
Yeah, he's committed himself.
got a
to
chance.
calling now, though.
How fast will you? Oh,
That's the problem. When you raise that much, you've committed yourself to call.
I think he kind of wants to, though.
I think so
I mean,
too.
I think he minds. I think he's raising that big because he thinks Corey's going to fold his big blind, and he wants to get Rob's stack in. So I think the plan was to get him all in, like, no matter what.
Yeah. That was when you commit yourself pre-flop, it makes you look like less of a donkey when you have to call the rest of it off.
Yeah.
That's true.
When the guy shows a pair above your 7.
And you go, well, I got that much. Yeah.
Surprisingly, he's tanking,
gotta
though. I
call.
mean, I don't know what there is to think about. I mean, you have an aggressive player who's
Robert
raising
Mouse
from the
is all
button. He's
in.
been
I think-
playing all kind of hands.
I think that was more Hollywood than anything. I
It's gotta
don't.
be.
I don't think that's much of a decision. And he's kissing his chips goodbye. But
Chris calls.
this guy made quads earlier, so
How much was that raise?
expect some ace or some clubs.
It was
Like half. I think.
half of his stack at
Yeah.
least. I mean,
I like that raise a lot by Chris. I like putting the biggest small blind to
because it's almost like you're shoving.
test.
An ace and an ace only. Boom. Boats up.
Full.
Eights are hot tonight.
Yeah, so are fives.
No. Yeah. Well,
That would have been a better flop that time.
Yeah, I would have liked it to be that way
That
instead,
board would have been pretty good.
so I can punish him like he punished me.
Chris looks a little upset with himself, but I think it was the correct way to do things.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't have been upset if he would have had a weaker ace or something that he called with, or
Or king queen,
king
jack,
10
king,
suited,
king
or whatever.
7, 8 of hearts.
I mean, that's the type of stuff you have to do when you have a big stack at
And
this level,
Plus,
five-handed.
Has he missed?
He hasn't missed
That's
like
the
anything
first one he's missed in like a decade.
since the first season.
See if
Yeah.
anybody
Action on
wants to
suited
take
dam.
this. He didn't miss very many in the first season either.
I know that's how he got that bracelet.
Is he wearing it tonight?
If I was him, I would be.
He's wearing something. I
I
think
would.
so.
I think it's kind of. I feel it's like the rules.
I almost said something.
You should be wearing
It
your
should
bracelet.
I mean, pretty soon it's just
Would
going
you
to be
buy
a
yours?
table full of bracelets.
I didn't know PJ sold this.
Ooh.
It's called the Boston Burn.
Too soon.
Chris Dak first.
Oh, that's so funny. You missed it.
I was going to say, I missed him.
You missed it. It was just. He's.
It's like a soul read.
Yeah.
Joke.
Heads up, battle of blinds. Ed is all
There you
in.
go.
Ed is all in.
30.
2 den folds.
Sorry for no commentating here for a second.
They were explaining jokes to me.
It's with me being in the booth, it's kind of a party back here. I mean, I still have no pants on. if you have the live feed on, if you guys are watching live and they switch to the booth, be ready to be very happy.
Let's see how this goes here.
Well, I mean, Corey has a deeper stack now. I mean, he doesn't have to lose his stack here. This isn't an automatic feature stacking.
I agree 100%.
I think he'll do like a normal min raise or
Raised to 1,300 by Corey Marcel.
We had 2-4, Tony.
We are at 3-6.
3-6.
8
All right.
minutes,
Okay, so
45
what do you make
seconds
it,
left on the
12?
blinds.
Yeah.
That's good.
13.
See, that's not bad.
We had 13.
Yeah, see that gives him opportunity to get away. I mean, because Chris is probably going to raise him here. I mean, I don't see him.
I wouldn't mind just a smooth call here.
I mean, heads up, I wouldn't mind it, but you're also out of position. It's still, they both have pretty deep stacks. I mean, Corey has a deep stack now too. I think one of the deeper stacks at the table.
And he does raise.
Chris raises
So,
to
I mean-
3,200.
Plus, there's a lot more things that people can think. I mean, Corey can now think that, you know, this guy's being super aggressive. You know, he's been always raising everybody. You know, maybe he's raising me because I'm in late position, and he thinks that I'm just raising to steal the blinds. You know, which is, I mean, that's what people do.
If you're Corey and if Chris min clicks back,
Corey folds.
what do? He makes it 13.
I would have to flat.
Chris makes it 19.
I would have to call. I would have to call. Just because I'm in
20
position. I don't know. I mean, with his image, I'm gonna call in position. I mean,
I think I agree with Boss on this one. I think I was a flat call there because I think if it was like 3 levels ago when Chris was more active, I think you can get away with a 3-bet there and look super weak. But just flatting there,
well, yeah.
I think you disguise your hand a lot better.
This deep, I
But
don't mind it either way. I
at
mean,
the same time, you have Corey raising, who's not raising super late.
right. So you definitely want to
you
raise
might-
them and get the money in the pot.
You're 3-betting for value.
And he's going to c-bet most of the
Yeah.
time.
I think either way it would be fine. It's just you would hate to
Lose down.
not raise and then, you know,
With that damage
Lose
and
the
stuff.
pot.
if he was raising with like 5-6 suited and then it comes up
Right.
really scary and then you're just, I mean, you have aces and
Chris
you off
calls.
when you let him get a straight or something stupid.
Yeah.
Robert
Well, like
announces a raise.
one of the other
Chris
players
folds.
that always lets people get there. What's his name? Paul on the season. Sometimes he'll do that, but
It's getting steamy. It's getting so steamy here. Paul's skin is just cooking like bacon.
I tell you what, you take it better than anybody I have.
oh, he does. My pants are still off in the booth.
Let's see if Ed puts out a race here under the gun. Queen Jack suited.
I'm enjoying this in the booth here.
Oh, I love it.
I got Moskowitz on my lap. He's sitting on my lap.
Not only does he play it, he
Ed is all in.
Good shove.
I like that.
You have just
Yep.
you have just enough that it takes a really strong hand to call you, and the odds of that happening are just not.
And even if you
enough.
get called, I mean, you still have. I mean,
Yeah, you got
Queen
outs.
Jack suited is not the worst.
It's like the second nuts pre-flop.
Is Corey debating on calling?
What are the order of the chip stacks?
Here comes some mathematics. We don't know that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we
I'm pretty sure.
Way over my head, I know that.
I'm pretty sure it involves an X and an equals something.
might even be more letters than that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I need you to lie in there too.
yeah. Once you start putting alphabets and math problems, that's too much for me. I don't understand any of that stuff. I feel like math should just involve numbers, but I mean, who am I to say?
Who are you to say?
Wow, we got some big
This
hands going
is
here.
going to be
Dan
very
back
exciting. It
Now
makes
we're talking, folks.
This makes me really happy in my
It's about
pants.
time you set the deck train.
See Dan all in.
26?
Train is
2,600.
imitating DMX. This is going to be really fun. I'm excited.
Did Dan push?
Yeah, Dan pushed.
Yes.
Corey's thinking about calling with Queen Jack suited, and Ed's in the big line with pocket pair.
What do we got? All in train?
2,600 and all in.
Ooh,
Back
that's
to Corey.
really close.
What is it?
26 and a half or so.
And the blinds are 2-4, 3-6. Ooh,
Blinds,
yeah.
blinds are 3-6.
I don't know if I could fold Queen Jack. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Ed's got to call.
he has to. Ed was behind. Yeah, I mean,
Dan,
still, I think.
looks like Dan's throwing up into his shirt already.
To be honest, if I was Corey in that spot, I think I would have raised all in.
I think we had one. I think we had 1 7 folded, 1 king folded. Other than that, Dan's got live cards.
Did you say you saw 7 fold?
You stood first.
I think king 7 got folded.
Heads up, guys.
Well, I'm hoping that 7s hold. Just so I can be slightly closer.
Ace, king,
Look at that.
10.
Adding so many outs.
Look at that flop that Corey would have had.
Too many out syndrome.
Ace on
Corey's
the
like,
river.
man, if only I would have just...
Was it ace?
Is that
Yes.
really an ace on the river? Didn't
Yes.
show up.
No, yeah, ace of diamonds.
Oh lordy.
And doubles up.
So much for too many out syndrome.
It had to be an ace.
It was an ace. Ace on the river.
Corey was sick when he saw that flop. He flopped 2 pair.
Oh yeah. He goes,
Dang.
He goes, math, you have wronged me before. I'm not going to let you do it this time. Then boom.
Yeah. Well, I think he forgot to carry the X.
To the face.
Or the Y. He forgot to carry the Y.
Yeah. Looks like he's been going to the Y though. Very fit gentleman.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we work out together.
Well, I think he's a swimmer. That's why he shaved his beard to
Chris Jack
the
first.
resistance.
Folds.
Who might have say otherwise? I don't know his techniques.
I don't know either. Oh, no, I'm all right.
Corey's got an ace on the button here.
Well, now that Dan's doubled up, I think he should go with a normal raise.
But Dan's folding so
Corey
often.
raised it to 1,500.
What do you mean?
Ed is all in.
Oh,
Ed,
wow.
Ed is all in.
26.
That's different.
Ed moves in for queen 5. He's got no...
I mean, I
Corey
don't...
can never fold.
Yeah,
Corey calls.
that's the only thing
That's
I don't
the
like
thing,
about it
yeah.
is... I mean, you're just straight up... I don't know how much he has, though. I mean, if he has... What does he have, like 1,000?
He had 26.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
And Corey made it what?
Corey made like 15. Yeah, I mean, that's just a spot you have to fold, I think, in Ed's spot.
Why? Yeah, fold one hand and you have the button.
Yeah, and then you
Right.
can shove any 2 cards. I think he just got tilted when Dan hit that ace and wanted to just put it in.
It's that Terminator Salvation show and earlier took off. He's gonna find me.
I mean, it's still live cards. You know, it's not crazy,
yeah,
but it's
he's
just
60-40, but
it's just one of those spots you
that's
kind of
the
want to
best you
avoid.
can hope to be.
I mean, you're playing a tournament for survival. You're getting this far. You may have got sucked out on, but you still have enough chips to where you can make something happen that in a more favorable spot, I'd say.
Heart.
Yeah, heart would be interesting.
6 is kind of
No,
boring.
it's got 2 cards. There it is.
Good game, Ed.
Good game, Ed.
Somewhere showing
And now we're on the bubble.
Yep, and now Corey's in a position to hammer Dan.
Good game, Ed.
Hammer down on Dan.
Hammer down. Take those chips and just pound them with them.
1 minute left in the
That's what I'd
blinds.
do. If I was Corey, I would pound all over Dan. No pun intended.
I don't know. You know what pun you're talking about?
I'm talking about fighting, fist fighting.
What's a pun?
It's something I heard on TV, Comedy Central.
Like Mad Libs?
But here's Ed. I'm gonna pass the mic to him so he can put a little bit of input on what was going through his head with that Queen 5.
Oh, okay.
Chris checks.
Well, then that makes more sense to me.
So the Queen 5 the Queen 5 went in blind then?
What's that?
The Queen 5 went in blind?
Look at that flop.
Paul's excited by the flop.
That's because I've never.
Oh, like
Both players check.
7 of hearts.
Yes, that'd be so cool.
Top hot.
Sum it up. Well, Ed, I thought you played
We
a
are
really,
on
really
break.
good game tonight. You know, you got pretty unlucky with those kings that would have put you over the top for a great chip stack. Other than that, I thought you played perfectly steady. You know, you made hands when you needed to, and you bet them correctly. Just the cards didn't fall in your favor when it really counted.
Yeah, you lost.
hammered at the end there.
Yeah, you lost
every race.
big pot to Rob when he shoved with ace rag.
Oh yeah.
And then
ace rag.
Yeah.
Fold, the kings, and it's only 3,000.
And then you lose a race to Dan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, queens and tens. That was another
that's
huge
right.
huge
Yeah.
spot that there's nothing you can do about
I didn't
it.
think he had queens there. I thought he had big ace, but it didn't matter. So. Yeah, every race I just spiral down.
Okay, we're on
No one's
break.
farting yet.
No kidding. That's it.
He
Okay.
does.
We have break.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. We were sitting here talking to each other.